In 1995, the Million Man March brought more than 1 million black men to the National Mall in a powerful show of unity, pride, and accountability. Former D.C. First Lady Cora Masters Barry was a key force behind the scenes, and now on the heels of the 30th anniversary, she is reflecting on her role, the march's lasting impact, and the women whose contributions often went unseen. Cora Masters Barry joins me now live this morning with more. So good to have you here, and thank you for what you did back then and what you continue to do. I want you to take us back to that day in 1995. What do you remember most about the energy and the purpose that filled that mall?
Well, I think the night before the march, there was a rally at the convention center. And the electricity in the air that evening was, just palpable. It was myself, obviously, my husband, Marion Barry, who was basically and primarily responsible for the success of the Million Man March because he opened the city in a way that made it very hospitable for 2 million black men to show up. But that night before, it was just so electric. So the women that had assembled, that had been working as organizers, critiquing critical documents. As a matter of fact, the woman that called on the day of the Million Man March, which was an 8-hour event, that show was called by a woman with the headphones named Dr. Barbara Williams Skinner. And so we met the night before at the Willard Hotel at a long table to talk about the next day. Sitting at that table was Dr. Maya Angelou, Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, Rosa Parks, and Betty Shabazz, Malcolm X's wife, myself, Dr. Cedar Loris Tucker, and others, as we anticipated the next day. The men, my husband, Reverend Willie Wilson, and many other men from the Million Man March were so popped up that they were riding and walking and knocking on doors and talking to the men. And you could see them walking toward the mall. The buses were coming in. I was able, as First Lady, to get my security to sneak me over to the mall and allow me to step outside long enough to just walk among the people. They didn't know who I was, so I was able to do that. And because I needed to be able to be there and feel it, because I knew the next day it would be difficult to be able to be in the masses. So it was amazing. Indeed it was. And 30 years later, as movements like yesterday's No Kings rallies call out threats to democracy and demand accountability, what lessons from the Million Man Marches still resonate most for you today? I think one of the greatest lessons is the importance and the power of coalitions. And I think we see that with the No Kings March. The Million Man March was a coalition of not just the leader of the march, which was Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but it was a faith community, it was a nonprofit community, it was the HBCUs, it was the women's organizations that come together to talk about not just a day of atonement, but a day of reconciliation. A day of healing, a day of responsibility. So to me, coalitions and understanding what we can do when we all come together, getting beyond our obvious differences. I mean, they are Muslim, we are Christians, but we're all working together for the greater good, which is to save and help humanity. In our last minute, what do you hope that the future generations take away from what happened 30 years ago, and how do you hope they carry it forward from today? I hope they're showing up right now, because our freedom is at risk. Fascism is taking over. I need our young people to show up, as I've been watching them, to be fearless, to be ready to take responsibility, and also understand that there are consequences and casualties when you resist. But one of the main things is to come together, resist, and be ready to do whatever you need to do to make sure that you save the rights and the freedoms of all of us. Cora Masters Barry, I know we only scratched the surface of even your involvement in this movement, from getting out the vote and coalescing people. I certainly hope that we can have a chance to have a much more in-depth conversation about your role in this movement and what you continue to do here in the district and really around the country. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Thank you.